Now, joining us next is a design director who's able to successfully merge ability and desire whilst grasping every single opportunity that presents itself in creating authentic and, of course, memorable destination experiences here in the region and beyond. Please welcome to the DXB, or back to DXB today, I should say. On the sofa with us here is Pooja Shah-Mulani. Thanks so much indeed for being our guest co-host.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you on board. Now, I reckon that a lot of our, asking for a friend, obviously, Pooja, but I'm reckoning a lot of our viewers out there are going, okay, like the idea, sort of makes sense, but the practicalities of how an interior could impact your wellness, how many properties are sort of fully embraced that here in Dubai at the moment? More and more doing it?
It's definitely becoming more and more something that people are looking at, and people are really, I mean, hotels and hospitality is always escapism.
Yeah.
But we're finding now that more and more of the hospitality brands are branching out and they're wanting to do more of a wellness focused approach. We recently opened the first Cyro in Dubai. And it's apt to talk about that today because it's not just about wellness, it's about active recovery. It's catered to a very niche kind of group of individuals, athletes, sportsmen. You know, there is nowhere in the world where they can go and feel fully immersed. They have a hard day training, a hard day of physio, nutrition. And where can they actually go to escape and feel in an environment that is actually helping their recovery, helping their training, helping their well-being in general. So that was a very interesting project to work on, and that kind of went all the way from A to Z, fully focused on the wellness from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed in every aspect.
Which is a completely different way of approaching it, isn't it? Traditionally, it's been, the gym's almost been a little bit of an afterthought.
Yeah. The gym is nearly the same. No, actually, it's, I think, twice the size of the lobby, which normally doesn't happen in a lobby, in a hotel.
It's so good to hear that venues are doing this. But how are actually venues taking the steps and stages to do this? Are they employing like experts on to get that advice, or are they just creating more plant areas? Like, how are they actually doing it?
I think there's so many more professionals that are part of this business now. So for example, in Cyro, there was a sleep consultant that was consulted and hired. And he said, actually, the beds of a normal hotel are too short. So all the beds in Cyro are longer for taller athletes so that you get the full sleep and you're fully, you know, jet lag, traveling, how important is sleep to your recovery and your performance. So the beds are longer. That's something that we did for the first time. We've got longer, but no one will notice it, but the beds are longer if you go in there. Your feet won't dangle off the end.
Brilliant.
But since Blaine mentioned all about how they're hiring people to make this place a bit more wellness oriented, what about technology? I've been reading about smart hotels now and how it incorporates into wellness. Do you think technology plays a big part in these wellness focused hotels?
Definitely. I mean, technology is integrated everywhere in everything that we do. I think the human aspect of everything that we do, including wellness, will never change. You need to have people you speak to, you need to have therapists, everything can't be digitized and automated. But a lot of the technology goes into actually studying what people want and how they want to use the space and what is benefiting them or not benefiting them, the types of therapies that people could use. So there's a lot of research and I think technology that aids people to be able to help others better.
And is it an all or nothing approach? I mean, when it comes to wellness and interiors, does it have to be the entire room, or could you have like a little corner for wellness as well?
Well, I think you can have a little corner. Cyro's different because it's the whole room. I mean, each room has its own sort of gym wall that's kitted out for people to be able to work within their room. But we once did a concept for a sort of 4-star lifestyle luxury hotel for a European brand, and they integrated small elements of workout spaces within the room. So the whole room wasn't based around it, but it was one of those where, you know, if you're somebody that just wanted 20 minutes in the morning or an area to meditate or just do some stretching or Pilates or yoga, you can do it in the room, you know, without having to go all the way to the gym. So I think you can have small areas of it because it's about how you feel in the morning, what your routine is. Sometimes you don't want to wake up and spend a full hour in the gym.
Now, one thing I do is I've got like a lot of plants. I've got a plant area, you know, the spider plant, but for the oxygen and things like that. But what are the latest trends that you would say is some of the design wellness trends? Is there some nowadays?
I find that there's a big trend in extremists at the moment. There's minimalism, and then there's maximalism, and there's minimal maximalism, minimal maximalism, however you say it.
That's a thing.
Yeah, and I think that at the moment there is this trend of less is more, and really thinking about what's around you, having key pieces that are giving you what they need to give you. And then there's also maximalism, which is go for it. It's pattern upon pattern upon pattern, and it's there to make you feel alive and change your mood and drive you. And lighting plays a huge part in that as well. Colors, and what is it doing with your circadian rhythm, or what is it not doing to your circadian rhythm. So trends, I hate talking about trends because you don't always have trends. I think it just is kind of working with how people are working generally.
Well, Pooja, we're really excited to have you on the show right now. And I'm glad that we have a design director, of all people, to be our co-host for this. So my quick question is, when you go into a house, when you go into a room, do you take the knowledge of design that you have for hotels into your critiquing eye when you enter? Like, say, if you were to enter Tom's room right now, would you be judging people's houses when you enter them?
This question, as a designer, you get asked this a lot. And I have to say that I personally, and I think a lot of designers don't, you can't judge people's homes. That is your space, that is your home, that is your kind of sanctuary, and how you live in it is very individual to you. I mean, I've recently done my parents' house, and of course I did it completely from a design eye, and I was like, this is gonna look great based on their brief. But it came to them living in it, and they're like, well, this doesn't work for us, and we don't need this here. And then all of their, old travel bits and pieces they bought started to creep into the house, and I was like, now I've got to step away because this is now your home. And it's how you want to live in it. So as long as it reflects you and it's comfortable and you like living in it, then it works for everybody.
Well, we're going to feel good about ourselves.
Yeah, well, I'm still
Maybe
feeling a little bit
clean
guilty.
up a little bit, but
I'm
fine.
not clean. I'm not messy. I've just got. I'm a hoarder. I can't let go. I can't declutter.
Is there a certain colour maybe that will help certain things as well? Has colours got anything to do with it as well?
Colors has a big part to do with it, but I'm not a huge believer in there's this mood circle that you can have with colors that people talk about. That I think a lot of it is how things are placed, the space planning, how you make people experience the journey within the room. Like, what do you want them to do first? You can control that a lot in hospitality. When you design a space, what do you want somebody to do first, then what do you want them to do after, and you do that by space planning. Of course, colors, materials, all of that works together with it, but the journey is what you plan first.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure we're going to be talking a little bit more in depth about this later on, but coming up, we will be finding out how the ambiance and even the use of specific materials can create a space of well-being with leading spa director in the region. So stay with us.